disaster for Scotland again. This is a quick one, Stephen, I'm warning you. You know, Billy Connolly.
Hello and welcome on into our Farzi review. I am one of your co-hosts, Stephen John McLaughlin. Our other co-host is, of course, John C. Walsh, who will be taking us through this web series review very shortly. It's been a while, John, since we've done a review, and I'm very much looking forward to doing this. We've left it a week. It gave us time to obviously digest.
We left it that long that I had to, when I was walking my dog, write notes just so I made sure that I remembered enough.
Yeah, I mean, 8 episodes, John.
I've not took notes in years.
Roughly about an hour long. A couple of ones that were maybe a bit shorter, maybe 40-50 minutes, but all in all, I think on average an hour long.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're familiar with Shahid Kapoor and Vijay Sethupathi, but a lot of actors in there as well, John. Probably another 3 or 4.
How slow was that review?
We now know, what is that all about? And I mean, this was recommended to us, John. We did do the trailer reaction last year, at the end of last year. Loved the reaction, loved the trailer, as you can tell from our reaction. And this came out on the 10th of February, so it's still fresh. It's only been out a month on Prime Video here in the UK, and obviously created by Raj and DK from The Family Man name as well, John. And I know we're going to get into obviously tie-ins and all that for stuff, but I'm going to pass it over to you now anyway, so you can take us through this web series review.
Stephen, you've touched on it right from the get-go. Raj and DK, 2 names we're familiar with. We've both reacted to Family Man season 1 and 2, Manoj Bajpayee, the likes of Samantha. There's other names in there, I'm sure, that I would know if I'd seen them, but off the top of my head I'm toiling, so I'm just going to go with those 2, Samantha and Manoj Bajpayee. Brilliant shows, brilliant show, brilliant seasons. I've said in the notes here the sort of structure we're going through, box ticking process here, and make sure we don't miss anything. Just take a hair off my mic. Fucking dogs killing us. Family Man and now Farzi, 2 technically brilliant shows, technically 3 sort of separate entities, because we have season 1 and 2 of The Family Man. And I've said thoughts on those 2, Raj and DK, just off the bat. Their writing prowess is there. Yeah. To do it for one show, one season of a show is impressive. To carry that form off or on into a second season and then continue into a whole new venture project with different characters, sharing their universe but different in every way possible. Manoj Bajpayee's Shrikant Tiwari, that's more counterintelligence, big weighty stuff going on, potential terrorist attacks happening, releasing chemical gases into New Delhi, I believe it was, down south, attacking a political convention. In Farzi, it's slightly less serious. It's still serious. It's money forgery and it's affecting the economy. It can crash and burn the country financially, but it's a different kind of criminality. To carry that over, Stephen, into a new show, I think they're showing that it's actual permanent. The class is there. They're brilliant writers, these 2. And look, we'll get into the writing, I'm sure, further as we go through this, but the shows are made and broke in terms of the showrunner, the writing, the script, and it's there in an abundance. I don't know what your thoughts are on those 2 before we really dive into it, because these are the guys that made
I think of any web series, John, if you've got the right writers, the right directors in, then that attracts the talent anyway. And we got that with The Family Man, and we certainly got that with Farzi. You're bringing 2 big film stars in. There'll be many in there that obviously you can contradict if you want. You can correct me, but obviously from our perspective, we know of Shahid Kapoor, we know of Vijay Sethupathi watching their films. We knew this was going to be a high quality drama, crime thriller series. And I think just off the bat, John, I said it, I think after episode 1, I said this is the second time this has happened with our reaction videos, where you don't need that first episode really to understand what's going on and get the characters. You connect with them right away. Within about the first 10-15 minutes you're in that story with them. And it was the same with The Family Man, and it's because of these 2 guys. They know how to write good drama, they know how to write realistic characters that isn't none of it's far-fetched. It's all real world sort of happenings, all real world
it's almost like fantasy fiction.
But it's believable, if you know what I mean. It could happen, it's not right. If these people are as good as they are in the underworld, and obviously, you know, the likes of Sonny and Faraz, how good they are. Faraz obviously being more the entrepreneur, and Sonny,
Musa in general, Samir and guys like that, and the family man.
Yeah.
The other guy whose name eludes me, who obviously Shri can't try to catch up north and nearly get stoned to death trying to get him. And
that structuring as well, I loved about this in Farzi. They didn't do too much sort of backtracking into their histories. They did it enough for us to understand it, particularly obviously with the Sonny and Faraz character when they were young boys, which I think was very important. You had to understand the relationship between these two, how much they loved each other. They were practically brothers, you know, obviously from different fathers, but just having those little sort of glimpses back into their past. We saw that in it wasn't Patal Lock, was it? Was it Patal Lock? I can't remember.
Patal Lock, we did get flashbacks into
those three criminals.
I think it was 3 or 4 accused.
But that went really into it.
It went really back into the sort of backstories, and it gave you a different side of the sort of spectrum.
But
and you understood what the rationale was.
They didn't do it as much in this, but they did it enough.
No, Steve, that was the next thing I was going to get into, and that just takes us seamlessly into it. The writing, the script for Farzi, the thoughts, the evolution, the story, the characters, the structuring. You're right. This reminded me almost of, and it's not the same because obviously it's a villain in Master, but Lokesh kind of garage, the way he likes to structure his movies with the likes of telepathy. I don't know if Kaffee did the same thing, but he's not scared of going and maybe looking at the so-called antagonist and developing the character for 10-15 minutes, giving you a backstory. We did get that in this. We got the backstory of Michael. The only one that didn't out of the sort of trio of protagonist stroke antagonist, because I'll get into that as well, probably the next point, if not this, there isn't really a protagonist or an antagonist in this. They're all sort of people with issues in their life, shall we say. They've got faults, warts and all, revealed. Michael's got it, Sonny's got it, Mansoor's got it. They're all sort of fragile individuals in their own professions, if you like. We wouldn't call forging money a profession, it's an anti-profession, but still, their career choices, they've got faults. But they did, as she says, do a brilliant job of going back and looking at the sort of past of Michael throughout the show, probably more so for Michael. It was less so throughout the show for Faraz and Sonny. It was that sort of extended sequence. I can't remember what episode it was, but when his father left him and we got to see him grifting in the train station and meeting Faraz and using his artistic abilities.
Episode 2 or 3, I think.
Yeah, it was early doors, wasn't it? To sort of keep their heads above water until the grandfather came out and saved them. Yeah. And that gave you a brilliant insight into that character in maybe 10-15 minutes. His ability to just keep his head above the water, survive. He was a fighter and he was going to use this gift to maybe take him to highs and crushing lows if they come. And that's something we've seen throughout the show, the artistic gift. Yeah. Using it for nefarious deeds, using it in the, what was it, Kranti? Yep. Newspaper. He was using that gift for good and bad. Yeah, yeah. And it's something that was explored in the sort of flashbacks. But we've seen it obviously with Michael as well, Stephen. The writing with Michael, unbelievable, man. With his marriage failing. Yep. Again, they packed a powerful punch, one of the episodes, a 10-minute sequence, if that, 5 minutes. He's lying, sleeping, drunk in the back of the car. And I think it's his partner, speaks to Mega. And I think the partner, if I'm not wrong, is it Shikar?
Shikar, yeah.
He has a conversation with Mega after the club scene. He apprehends or sort of pulls up that journalist. They just do enough of filling in the blanks, showing you it's lived in. These are real living people in this TV show. They're not caricature. They're dense.
John, it gets you that to that.
You get the backstory of his life.
But it gets you that way where you're thinking about the backstory. That is, you're thinking that would make a good series as well. Just the backstory. Do a prequel on that. That would be really interesting. But they don't have to. That's the thing about it. And that's confidence in writing. We talked about it in the first episode, John, where we thought Faraz would bitten the bullet. Yeah. And I thought, wow, that's a brave thing to do.
Well, because he was jumping about, dancing, trying to avoid being shot. And then after that was the second episode, Stephen, you were right. They go right into their backstory, the sort of close-knit brotherhood they've got from this shared experience of being orphans. And then you realise, fucking hell, he nearly died. And you're willing them to survive by the end of the episode. 2 episodes in, John, and they've bonded you with the characters.
You mentioned it as well in terms of structure and writing of the characters. I think it was maybe midway through our watch-alongs where you said that, and you said it there as well about there's not really antagonist and protagonists in this in terms of the way you would compare it with Family Man. We've got good versus evil.
In this, though, Steve, you think of the Family Man, you think of Samantha.
Yeah.
She's the antagonist. They do it in that show as well. They give you a backstory to her character.
But there's a part of you that thinks, I want the criminals to get away with this.
Yeah.
And we saw that in that car chase, when they were trying to throw the money out the boot.
Yeah.
We want Sonny and for us to get away with this, but at the same time we want Michael to win as well, because we like the Michael character, we like Vijay Sethupathi, but this character's well developed at this point. You can connect with him, you can sympathise with him, and you want him to succeed as well. But in these sort of situations, there's going to be a winner and there's going to be a loser.
There is, yeah.
But at the end, I will say this, I know we'll get to obviously the finale, John. Everybody lost a part of something, and I loved that sequence at the very end where you saw Michael in his apartment alone, and you saw Feroz leaving on the train. Everyone lost something.
Sonny lost his grandfather, he lost everything, he lost his humanity.
Yeah.
And Mansoor lost
the money.
Lost the money and potentially facing heavy consequences from the... I don't know her name, the name of that actress that played Cuckoo, or Cookie, whatever her name was.
Yeah.
Cuckoo. I never did get her name.
Yeah.
But she's well after him. But you're right, Stephen, there's just something about the way the show's wrote. I think it's just the characters are all full, they're thick. And I think we've realised over the last 4, 5, 6, maybe further back now, actually 10 years, the last decade in film and in TV, that you don't have to put up with caricature, 2D, lifeless, campy villains who just turn up and twirl their moustache and go ho ho ho, and they're the sort of typical bad guy. Now we've evolved in terms of entertainment. The writing has evolved. The characters have become more nuanced.
Is your sound okay, John? I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, I'll have a little listen.
No, it's just because I don't see any graphic equaliser, so I was just wondering. Yeah, and I did knock my mic.
It's further down. I think the mic. Yeah, there you go.
I'm just a little bit concerned that perhaps maybe me knocking that mic.
Yeah, our microphones are very, very. No, that's all right. It's okay.
Sorry about that, folks.
No,
sorry about that, John.
The mics are very temperamental. You breathe on them the wrong way, and they will start hissing.
As you can see, we are recording this live.
We're recording it live. It's not live as it goes out, because no one would be here to watch it. Not to suggest anyone's going to be here watching it when it does go out. We're not getting ahead of ourselves, if you like. But Stephen, villains, man. We've got beyond that. The villains are now more nuanced. They're in that grey zone.
Yeah.
They have depth to them, and that adds so much to the experience. If the villains are someone you can almost root for, in this case, Sonny's a borderline villain in this, because he's technically the bad guy. He's forging money and potentially damaging the economy. If you give a rationality why he's doing it, they never really do it for Mansoor. To be fair, Mansoor is the sort of mustachioed, twirling kind of guy. He's he's out for himself.
Yeah.
But then we'll get into that. Someone commented a brilliant comment about the name of the show and how that imparts on the three main characters in this show, Michael, Mansoor and Sonny. They're all fakes in a strange way. They're all trying to achieve something and lying to themselves in the greater world.
Yeah.
I suppose we can get into that just now, Stephen, can't we? To be fair, the writing is just brilliant. I think the structuring is brilliant. Never tired of it. The highest compliment I can give this show is that I was editing the episodes, and the 40, 50, 60 minute episodes. The last one was an hour and 6 minutes. I was delighted to sit and rewatch it again while editing it. I enjoyed the editing of this show. That's the highest praise I can give, because the editing is usually mind-numbingly fucking tedious. But I really enjoyed editing our reactions, and that's not just because I like listening to my voice. I sound like Kermit the fucking Frog at times. Even more so throughout this, because I was battling a cold stroke viral thing. But I really enjoyed it, so that's high praise to the writing, the structure, and the characters. We like believable, lived-in sort of characters. That's not even the right word to use, believable, but we like lived-in characters. We're fans of Star Wars. Lucas was doing this 40 years ago.
Yeah.
Setting us in a world that was very much already alive and things were happening, and
John,
then they fill it in.
I hate that when they do that in TV, and some of them, some of the best TV shows sort of fall victim to it and probably don't realise it till the actual show's out there. Friends is one of them, where they used to, I think the last episode, this ran from 94 to 2004, and that whole last episode referring to the last 10 years, I'm like, but yous are lived in characters who have known each other for longer than 10 years. We've known you for 10 years. Yous haven't, so stop referring it. And I hate when they do that, and I'm not just saying, it's not just Friends that have fell victim to that, but a lot of quality TV has done it. and you go back to that, John, that lived in where you're just picking up. You're the audience member being dropped into this world when something's just about to go off.
Yeah.
And I love that.
And they do it brilliantly.
Yeah.
They've done it in The Family Man as well. So Raj and DK are just masterful at creating these shows. They know how, as you said, Stephen, to deliver real drama at points, brilliant action.
Tension.
Tension. The moment when Mega's in the Cranty headquarters hunting about, tense as hell. I'm sure there was another moment, that sort of car park.
John,
near the end.
John, I forgot to say this, and I know you can't see my hands here. We've got actually arms on these chairs.
Yeah.
That whole car park sequence in the I was actually gripping that like that. I was like, this is so tense.
They know how to write brilliant scenes, and you know that they're going to see through, at least in some form. Certainly at the start, you know they're not going to get apprehended in the first 2-3 episodes. But it's that well wrote that you're actually you're feeling it. So brilliant writing. But Stephen, getting into that comment, someone commented, I've not got their name up sadly, but they mentioned that Michael's almost like a Farzi, a fake. Sonny and Mansoor, they're almost all living this fake existence in a way. Michael, obviously, his whole life's crumbled.
Well, he's manipulating a politician to get...
and he's corrupting the system. He's willing to get his hands dirty and use fake money to ultimately apprehend Mansoor. Mansoor's obviously just lying to himself about his whole lifestyle. He's living a lifestyle that realistically he shouldn't have achieved. He just seems to be a guy that's blagged his way there. He's cool, cold and ruthless. Yeah. He will do what needs to be done, but he's lying to himself. They did a better job of explaining it than I can. And also Sonny, his whole existence is fake. He's using fake money. He's making fake money. He's lying to Mega. He's lying to his grandfather. He's lying to everybody. My family's rich, that's how I can afford these 2 apartments. Everything's a lie. So the way that name Fakes ties into not just the main story about money laundering, forging, and then the actual characters, I just think that's brilliant.
Yeah.
But the thematics in general, Stephen, I don't know what you thought about the sort of themes explored in this. I just thought, obviously the grandfather, hugely important figure. Nana, is it? I think his name was.
Yeah.
Hugely important figure. I've said in my notes, he's the sort of moral linchpin for Sonny.
Yeah.
Sonny always goes back to him time and time again to seek guidance. He'll twist his words for his own gains, but he's always this shoulder to sort of lean on. And obviously when he dies at the end, all hell breaks loose.
Well,
he's
John,
unleashed.
I think the Nana G character is very important for the Sonny character in the sense that he needs that moral guidance. He needs that sort of purpose of staying on the right side of the tracks to an extent that he's doing it for this reason. It's the Robin Hood thing. You know, he's robbing from rich to sort of, support the poor. And that's kind of what he is doing to an extent. It goes beyond that, obviously. Once I think he becomes corrupted, becomes more corruptible and he becomes more sort of greedy and obviously likes the lifestyle that he's become accustomed to. But it always harks back to the Nana G character in terms of why he was doing it in the first place. And there was a couple of times through the web series you were reminded of that. Yeah. He was doing it for him. And I think, is it Emil Palika is the actor's name?
Yeah.
We know obviously was a director, probably still is a director from the 1990s. And I thought he was great in this. I thought for the limited screen time, I think if you look back, he's not in this web series that much. No. But when he is in it, he's very impactful. And I think for us, I think we have got to include in this as well, John. This is his adopted grandfather as well, and I think it's just that sort of family unit between the three of them, which I thought played very well.
It's funny, Stephen, because when he stops listening to the sort of inner voice, the moral compass, and his grandfather, perhaps Feroz is the other sort of go-between.
Yeah,
you see it when he's falling out with the uncle character. Yeah, I think it's Yasser Chacha.
Yeah,
Yasir Chacha. When they're having their blows and it's becoming explosive, Feroz is always the guy to go in and say, "What are you doing? Don't talk nonsense." Will he bluff to the police on us? Will he give us away? What are you going to do? Kill him? Listen to yourself. He's always that buffer. He's almost like the sort of good evil. He's the angel in his ear.
Yeah.
And Mansoor, and just maybe the demon within his father, within him, is like the sort of evil entity speaking in his other ear.
When we were first introduced to Sonny and Feroz, I thought Feroz was going to be that one. I thought he was going to be the sort of maverick, the one pushing the boundaries, and Sonny was the one that would have to rein him in. It was the opposite way. You're absolutely right.
And obviously, again, he's shuffled out of the way at the end. In the final episode, he's sent to the train. He says, "I'll meet you at the train station."
John, I don't know about this, but I did reply to someone in the comment section in terms of carrying this into a season 2. And I think this is just my thoughts, and I don't know if anyone agrees with this or thinks it's even believable that they could do this, but I can see Sonny actually not being referred to as Sonny in season 2 and referred to as the artist, almost like the Joker, where he is just going to unleash holy
it became
hell.
a sort of alter ego.
Yeah,
I think you may be right.
And I think Michael's team will refer to him, because I think the only person that can bring him back from that sort of dark side is obviously the Mega character.
And then she doesn't refer to him as Sonny. No. She refers to him as Sandeep.
Yeah.
So it's almost like, I don't know if that's a shorthand for Sandeep, but there's little levels of persona to the Sonny character. He's lying to himself, he's lying to everyone around him. And I don't know if he has still got enough of an emotional attachment to Mega for her to be able to bring him back. But Stephen, I was going to get into that later on, but I think we should touch on that just now. You can get back to the themes, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Do you think that they've done enough to, what have I says here, to obviously facilitate a crossover into season 2, i.e. between the Family Man and obviously Farzi? Do you think they've done enough in this season already that we are oven baked, if you'd like, into season 2 to see Shrikant, Tiwari, JK and guys like that teaming up? And will it tonally work?
I think it does, John. I think
because what you says, I think that works.
Yeah, I think so as well. But I think the last episode of Farzi was the key to that for it working, because we did say this is a little bit light and comedic. I mean, there were some dark moments, but it got really violent in that last episode. You mentioned it, John. I said this hasn't been really that violent, and then it just got really violent, and I think you're absolutely right. But I also think as well that even if they did not have those sort of little Easter eggs throughout that, it would still work in terms of tying in with the Family Man. Even if they didn't have that and they weren't even going in that direction, it wouldn't have bothered me. I would, if they kept these two series separate, I would be happy with that anyway. But I think they did enough. They probably could have done a little bit less. Yeah. And over rewatchability, you'd pick up these things anyway. Those little characters that you see in references.
The Sean Lennon character, as we call him.
Yeah, and there was a billboard or a poster that referred to the Family Man. I think it was.
I totally missed that.
Yeah, I think it was in Hindi though, John. So I'm not really sure we would have picked up in that.
But the obvious Tiwari is in there.
Yeah,
I mean, speech to Shri.
That's probably a little bit on the nose. Yeah. But obviously,
they're obviously know each other.
I think obviously the voice as well over the phone is probably the most obvious one. But again, they could have reined it in even further and just had little moments, even smaller moments than that, and it would have been fine. But I think it'll work. I don't know how far they'll go into it with a second season, whether or not perhaps maybe Michael will see in season 3 of Family Man.
Yeah.
Because I think naturally that would be cool. Yeah. That might come out before it.
Yeah, it depends on where they're going with Family Man season 3 in terms of, I think it was a more Chinese threat, wasn't it? At the end we seen them on a sort of like PC and doing his dirty deeds or whatever. Yeah. So I don't know how they could maybe bleed that in. But Stephen, I think they've done enough. Again, it ties back to the writing. Raj and DK, this started off tonally completely different to Family Man. It had the laughs and the dark humour in there. There was moments that kind of were similar with obviously Mansoor and the sort of levels of villain, the levels of criminality. You've got this sort of Middle Eastern figures.
Even in season 3 of Family Man, I'd be happy even if you got maybe perhaps the Shekar character, character just kept dropping into that. That'd be enough as well. I don't want the sort of top 3-4 characters just dropping into Family Man. Yeah, but unless it's required, don't just do it for the sake of sake. For the sake of.
But if what you say transpires, Stephen, and he becomes almost this persona, the artist, and he's just killing people left, right, and centre. Obviously, but in this case, he's actually taking down Mansoor's men, though.
Yeah.
So that would almost align him with Michael and Shrikant.
Well, you mentioned, John, it could be like the Fugitive, where you've got those sort of 3 levels. You've got Sam Gerard's US Marshals chasing what they think's the villain, but the actual one they think's the villain's the good guy who's actually chasing the real villain, and that's exactly what's happening.
Would that be brilliant, Stephen? I love that structure in film. I think it's great. There was another one, wasn't there? There was another movie that followed that structure that came out after The Fugitive. But I just like when they do that, and I think that could work. He's on the run, he's almost a fugitive now. Michael's after him, Mega's after him, Shrikant, we know, is in the shadows potentially coming after him. I think that would work. I think they've done a brilliant job of crossing it over.
Book films all the time, John. You see it, Batman, you see it where you've got the cops, Batman's in the middle, he's trying to do the same thing the cops are trying to do, but the cops are after Batman. You see it all the time. That's why I'm referring to Shahid Kapoor's character as possibly like a Joker character, where he's going to become a comic book villain, the artist. And again, it might just not be that, but I'd love to see that.
Or he almost becomes a protagonist and he's trying to take down.
Yeah.
And they're kind of working to bring down Mansoor. Because with Michael's tragedy and what Mansoor did to his life, I think they're going to have to work it in a way where they're all fighting to bring this guy. This guy, Mansoor, is he is the bad guy in the show. There's no doubt about it. Him and the other character, played by that actress whose name again eludes me, they are definitely the villains in this. Sonny is a semi-villain, but he's doing it for the right reasons initially. He does become a bit selfish, but then he ultimately finds himself again and realises these are the fucking bad guys.
Yeah, I mean, Sonny to an extent, and I'm not making excuses for him, John, is a victim of circumstances at times as well, and just I think there was a good speech between him and Feroz. Yeah,
that was just about to tie back into that. You're absolutely bang on,
and
Steve.
I think that was important about the crazy world that we live in and the way we live our lives. We work to pay bills. And we pay bills by working.
And the system, as it is, capitalistic systems, they tend to work for those who have everything, the top 1%, and the people who have got nothing are downtrodden permanently with no way out, suffocating, barely existing. And he's in that situation. I think that's what fuels him many, many times, him and Feroz and the uncle are at it in this show. And he keeps saying, look, I'm not going to continue living in this sort of shithole, for lack of a better word. I want a way out. I want to be able to aspire to something better. This is my way out. I'm using my gift, my artistry to get me there. So I think you're right, Stephen. I think just he's always been slightly different to the likes of Mansoor.
Yeah.
And I think that may align itself to season 2, maybe siding with Michael. That's what I want to see. Whether that's what Raj and DK gives us is another thing. Yeah. But thematically, Stephen, I think that's really important as well for the character. Just that he is doing it for ultimately the right reasons throughout, to save his grandfather, then just to fucking get himself out of this situation.
Yeah.
And there is a bit of his father in there who is selfish, a bit of a vagabond, a thief, but ultimately he's likeable, Sonny.
Yeah.
Mansoor isn't really likeable. I mean, he's a user and an abuser.
I can't remember what episode it was, Mega. It might have been episode 3, where she goes behind Michael's back to investigate Cranty. Well, I think she was going round all the sort of print places, wasn't she? But I think you see that early signs of Sonny's sort of turn when he's considering bashing her over the head with
Feroz again says
a spanner.
He's always reined back in.
Yeah.
But now, as you says, he could become maybe a little bit unhinged because he's not got that buffer anymore.
I think it's deliberate. I think he knew he had to let Feroz go.
Yeah.
And not
didn't want to corrupt him.
No, exactly. That's exactly it.
He knows ultimately he's a good guy.
Setup,
It's just well written, Stephen. It really is. Yeah, probably go into favourite episodes, Stephen. Standout moments. If you got a favourite episode for me, the one that sticks out for me, there's 2. Well, there's actually 3. I loved the finale.
Cat and Mouse was
Cat and Mouse was probably my favourite.
The shortest as well. It was the shortest episode, wasn't it?
But it packed a punch.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
And that is when obviously Mega and Sonny start interlinking, become part of the same sort of, because at that point they were separate.
Yeah.
They were trying to chase the artist, this new Bill, this sandwich note. At that point, that's when the two worlds start colliding. And just the whole coffee shop stuff, sort of Grand Milky with, I can't remember what the hell she got. Nuts, no sugar, almond milk or something like that for bigger. That was the sort of thing for me throughout the show after that. And I loved that relationship. I was going to get into that as well, Stephen. Mega, the character of Mega, probably the most transformed in our eyes in this show, because we hated her guts at the start.
Yeah, she was a bit of a busybody.
She was a fucking pain in the arse. But then, actually quite a likeable character.
Yeah, very good at her job, John. I think that's what probably annoyed us more, because if anyone was going to bring Sonny and his operation down, it was going to be her.
Yeah.
And at that point anyway, we didn't realise that Sonny would actually be the one to bring himself down. But yeah, I mean, a great, well-written character, like we said, John. And I think, obviously, is it Rashid Khanna playing the part as well was fantastic. It's funny that, because she's got quite a familiar face, and I don't know if perhaps maybe seen her in something else, but
I'd have to click on that and find out.
Probably not. Probably just maybe from the trailer reaction, but just one of those recognisable faces, I think. And 1990 she was born.
Crazy, isn't it? She's doing better than me.
And I'm going back to obviously seen what she's been in. Obviously not. We don't know her, John. But just
Sarta?
no, I don't think I've seen that. It's for 2002 or
I think you may have
2020.
reacted
Sorry,
to that though.
it might have been, John. It might have been a trailer reaction. That's probably
Coffee.
yeah. It could have been, John. It could have been a trailer
Yeah,
reaction.
she's doing better than me. She's a year younger than me. My fuck, she looks better than I do.
But I
didn't
think
get her beauty.
I thought it was great. You know, the way they brought in that sort of element of a romantic link between the two characters as well, to give us that other dimension, where there was some comedic moments where they were sitting at their breakfast table on their phones. One was obviously from one side of this operation, getting their plans into place, and obviously the other one from their point of view, and it was the same sort of mission, if you like, you know, from different perspectives. But I thought both, you know, obviously both actors, Shahid Kapoor and Rashi Khanna, were fantastic, and that's great chemistry.
Yeah.
And I loved the way they left it as well, where it showed obviously his photo fit came up at the end, but there was that sort of
Obscure
banner right across his face, so we couldn't see it. She's sleeping, I think, as well in the
they're
control room.
definitely building that nicely into the second
It's good the way
season,
they ended it,
and it's going to test her how much she actually wants to pursue. We already seen in that conversation she had a love in some strange perverse way for the artists, and how authentic they made the bills, and she was really
I was almost convinced that the Mega character was ahead of him, 2 steps ahead of him.
Maybe still,
could be,
Lord knows. But for me, cat and mouse, second oldest profession, I think it was. Also the finale as well was great. The whole stuff in the actual car park, tense as hell. So, obviously ending with him burning the money down and becoming like John Wick. I fucking really enjoyed that. So they were probably my 3 standouts. But the whole show, Stephen, as I say, had a really good time editing it, watching it. So for me, it's just really strong throughout. I think they get the running time perfect. Sometimes an hour's too long for a show, and half an hour, 40 minutes, whatever, it's too short. But I think they got it just right throughout. They never overstayed their welcome. Everything it packed a punch. They fit really brilliant drama, action, tense moments in, character building. It was all in there.
John, we see this every time we do a watch along as well, that naturally you want to just binge watch, and this is the sort of series you would just sit in one night and watch all the way through. Maybe take about 4 or 5 hours, maybe longer actually. But certainly it's something that you would do over a weekend. I've
seen there's individuals.
But there's ones, John, I don't want to mention any names. There's one we're watching just now. I wouldn't be in any rush to binge watch it at the moment, just the way I'm feeling at the moment about it. But this certainly is one that I would binge watch if we were not doing, obviously, the watch along episodes.
I'm trying to do a score there from it. But Stephen, you could easily binge watch it.
It's
and again,
an easy watch.
It stems back to Raj and DK, the showrunners, the writers. They just know what they're doing. They know how to deliver really populist content. They know how to make the stories pop. They know how to just deliver great characters and fill the details in and give you a compelling sort of main story that channels its way through it all. Stephen, performances, standout acting, who delivered the performance of the show? This is actually a tough one for me, because if you're thinking about real weighty human story and who's been brought in to portray that, I couldn't have picked a better actor than Vijay Sethupathi. This guy is honestly he's one of my favourite actors from the Indian subcontinent. I just
one of my favourite actors in the world.
Fucking John. Brilliant. In the world, he's brilliant. It's just he can do everything. He can do villainous turns. He can do sort of complicated good guy performances. He can do romantic stories with tragedy. He can play a trans character brilliantly. There's nothing this guy can't bring to the table. And as Michael, I think he's just outstanding. All the human stuff with his family, the divorce, trying to get back into some form of fucking life with his son, whilst trying to take down this criminal figure in Mansoor. He's trying to balance it all.
Love that, John.
It's
Love that
just
in the first
a brilliant
episode.
performance from Vijay Sethupathi.
Vijay Sethupathi and KK Menon in that episode 1, John.
Stephen, that sums up what we're talking about.
You knew they had history. Does
that not sum it up though? We've not even seen anything about these characters, and they're fucking shooting each other across squares. They're having brilliant dialogue. And it's a baked-in relationship.
John, dare I say it, and I'll probably get slagged for this, but it's almost like the Michael character and Mansoor are almost like the two characters from Heat, where they don't spend a lot of time together, but they've got a lot of history there, and you can feel both presences, and I think that's down to the acting as well, down to Vijay Sethupathi and KK Menon. Just the way that they bring that presence to the screen, and the way the chemistry works between them. You can feel the tension. There's history, they hate each other's guts, but they've got this sort of
begrudging
respect for each other, you know. Shahid Kapoor, on the other hand, John, for me was fucking amazing in this show, and we'd only seen him in Padmavat at this stage.
Two totally different roles. He's playing Sultan in that,
you know, and I don't think he had as much screen time as obviously we've seen him in this, because he is carrying this show to an extent from obviously one perspective. But in terms of standout, it has to be Shahid Kapoor and Vijay Sethupathi for me. I really can't separate them too much. Maybe Vijay, because I'm probably more a fan of Vijay Sethupathi more than Shahid, because I've not seen enough of Shahid Kapoor. But the Sonny character for me was just so relatable. I liked him. I was rooting for him. Probably shouldn't be, because he's a criminal. It says a lot about me.
No, but that's the writing though, Stephen.
Yeah,
that's the writing. It's complex. They're morally ambiguous characters, the two of them. All of the characters in this are well thought out, and they've got rationale behind why what they're doing, why they're doing what they're doing. That wasn't even English, so that shows you it's good writing. That's why you're rooting for him. And Shahid Kapoor, with his performance, he really does bring all of his brilliant acting into this character. Some of the moments with the grandfather, the moments with Feroz, some of the best moments, and that's why they're on the thumbnails. It's him and Feroz just walking down a corridor with him putting his hand over him. You've got exhilarating highs when the note gets accepted, and then you've got bitter lows when someone's just been shot and he's ushering his friend, his brother, away. Feroz, just their relationship, the dynamic, the acting there was absolutely outstanding from Shahid throughout. And we spoke about it before we come on, Stephen. This guy has got the perfect physique for clothes. He should be a fucking model. Everything you put on this guy,
it probably was a model at one point.
You put anything on this guy, he looks good in every single fucking item of clothing. It doesn't matter. The Mansoor character gave him a ridiculous looking Lion t-shirt. He put it on, he looked like fucking.
I think both Shahid and Vijay carry a certain comedic performance in their roles as well, and you saw that. I thought Michael was really funny at times. You know, obviously with the CC fart things, talking about obviously his weight gain and stuff like that. Yeah, the superior, the stuff obviously with the photographs on the phone and stuff like that was really funny. And
writing on the wall.
And Sonny as well.
Shot, I think
there was so many moments. You mentioned that, John, the whole arm thing, you know, with Feroz, and I thought that was quite iconic throughout. There was a moment that just came back to me there. I think it was episode 8 where the two of them were standing very still, and we thought they were cardboard cutouts.
They were fucking depressed because the world was crumbling.
It was so 2D looking.
It was Mansoor's men. They were coming to get them, and they were waiting in the rain, just sitting on this wall. They looked lifeless. And I thought, again, that's some powerful imagery right there, because it's almost like the energy, everything's been sucked out of their body. They're like ghosts, just fucking utterly dejected. But just brilliant. I'd agree, Stephen. Vijay Sethupathi, Shahid Kapoor, as it should be, the two main guys in here.
Underneath that, John,
Rashid Khanna was great. KK Menon was brilliant.
Jaswant Dalal, John. I think there is that sort of level where you've got the sort of the two sort of main sort of, what would you call it, the top billing, and then you've got the ones underneath, and I think there was maybe about 5 actors underneath that, but not that far away from the top two. And you mentioned them, John.
I mean, KK, some of the moments with him were brilliant. When he comes into India, he has his sort of back and forth with Sonny.
Van Gogh,
Van Gogh.
That was fantastic.
It's not actually a self-portrait, it's his brother.
But it has him point. But he's trying to backtrack a little bit.
Some brilliant acting from KK in this, man. I thought he was outstanding. The moment he eats that sort of buttery thing with the cheese, just real brilliant acting in there. And then you see different sides to that character too. He's quite affable, quite funny at times, but then he's a fucking evil bastard.
And it can be quite sheepish around the cuckoo character.
Cuckoo, I think.
I
think so. But then you've got that moment where she's telling his men to leave the room, and he's, fuck are you, her men or my men? Just get out, and it's brilliant humour. So all the characters I've got, it's multifaceted. But for me, it was a Shahid Kapoor and Vijay Sethupathi show. Here. If I was to be pushed, I would pick Vijay just because I do. I think he's fucking absolutely class. But Shahid was brilliant in this as well.
Definitely.
Stephen, technical stuff. I love the soundtrack in this show. Just
the intro music.
The intro music was brilliant. Just loved the whole intro period, the animation of the and Stephen Walsh spoke about it. Some of the best stuff in this show, the making of the money, the process of drawing it. of printing it. Just brilliant sequences.
Yeah.
I love that shit.
Yeah, I love that
I
as
fucking
well.
love it. As someone who's a bit of an artist in my own right, I loved it, seeing him getting up in the world using the iPads and the new printing process, and just brilliant seeing that come together and hoodwinking the machines and stuff like
Yeah.
that. That was really good.
The cinematography, John,
Outstanding.
particularly in that sort of chase scene episode, I think it was the last episode,
Yeah.
going through the heavy traffic, I thought it was shot
Still
fantastically.
talk about
and-
funny moments
And the stuff in
Please.
the parking lot as well. I said that at the time, I think that's quite a hard thing to shoot
Yeah.
in the one contained space, but they've managed to do it and make it look so dramatical, just with some of the angles, you know.
You spoke about almost like Heat with
Yeah.
obviously Mansoor and Michael meeting Sonny for the first time. We know
Yeah,
those two
yeah.
characters. We know who's who. He's not got a clue who he is.
Yep.
Sonny hasn't got a clue who Michael is. They're having this dialogue. It's really tense.
Yeah,
Brilliant acting between those two. That was
It was a
almost like
moment-
Pacino, De Niro.
it was.
fucking
It was a
moment.
moment we were all waiting for, to see Shahid Kapoor
Two
and
men
Vijay
leading guys.
Sethupathi, meeting, and it was the only time they did meet.
Yeah.
But I didn't mind that. Sometimes that's the best way to do it. Just
There's going to be more.
you're,
for those
you're
two.
wanting more, And I think we will, John. I think in
Yeah.
season 2 we will.
I think you says it at one point, kind of throwaway, you'd like him. I
Yeah.
think Michael will ultimately like Sonny. I think
think
he's
so,
the
yeah.
kind of guy
Yeah.
he'll end up quite liking. I'm hoping.
Yeah.
Don't kill him, for fuck's sake. Come on. Either or. But yeah, technically I thought it was outstanding, Stephen. Really, really high class production values, sets, locations. Soundtrack was top tier. Brilliant down-tempo stuff going on. Just really, really good score. Soundtrack. Cinematography was brilliant, as you says. The editing on point.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it was that slick that I could fucking go in and pick out the moments and just boom, 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 cut
Yeah.
it. And the editing was so easy for me. Doing this show, so easy. I could breeze through it. That's because the editor of the show is so fucking good at their job as well. Just technically a triumph.
John, we did say,
Triumph.
I think that was me actually on a live chat in the afternoon. I said to everyone when we announced we were doing it, this is going to go out consecutively, and it did.
It did. Because I was determined it was going out
We delivered.
consecutively.
Yeah,
I was apart from the last one.
yeah,
There was a slight delay in that. I don't know why. I think
yeah.
it was a delay in us actually recording it.
I think, yeah.
I can't remember why that was, but there was a delay in us recording it.
I think, John, it was last Sunday because
Yeah.
We were
Done a
doing our tier
list.
list,
Yeah.
and it went
Yeah,
on
fucked
for an hour and a
Yeah,
half
it
at
was
Star Wars. Yeah,
Fucking
yeah.
hour and a half long discussion. Steve, I was going to mention whole hopes and wants for season 2, but we've kind of did that.
Yeah.
So I think we'll get into the
Yeah.
summary, final thoughts
Yeah.
on it before we rate it. Don't know if you want to go first.
John,
or shall
yeah,
go
I mean, I'll
first?
be short and sweet, John. I
'Cause you
think,
usually convey it better, and then I can
I-
piggyback off you.
don't know about that. I'm
Piggyback.
not
not
that
bank.
much articulated, to be
I
honest
don't
with you.
really-
But I think you get into this. I kind of knew what to expect, obviously, with the cast and obviously the showmakers. I knew it was going to be quality. Seen obviously the trailer late last year, I thought this looks incredible. It looks like it's got packed with humour, drama, thriller, all my kind of things, all in the one sort of show. And I thought this is going to be good, I think, because it is from the makers of Family Man. I think perhaps if we didn't see Family Man, we might have thought, nah, it looks okay. But you knew what you were getting, obviously, with Raj and DK. And I think we know what we're getting with Shahid Kapoor and Vijay Sethupathi anyway. I think you need big names for these types of shows to do it justice. It just gives it that sort of elevation in terms of exposure, certainly here in the West, where perhaps maybe these names aren't as well known unless you are a film buff or a TV buff. And I would say we're in that bracket, John.
Well, Stephen, I says at one point, that's every bit as good as the Korean stuff that's coming
Yeah,
over, and
definitely
people are
is,
eating
yeah.
that up.
Yeah.
There has to be a sort of flick of a
Yeah.
switch moment where
So,
people really enjoy and start getting into the Indian
Well, I
content
think
because
so,
it's
yeah.
brilliant.
and I think in terms of expectations, I think it surpassed expectations for me, because I didn't think it would be as good as The Family Man, and I'm now considering thinking it's actually better than The Family Man. Maybe that's a bold statement, I'm not sure. I probably have to go back. It has been a wee while since we saw The Family Man. I think by season 3 of The Family Man I'll be getting back saying, nah, The Family Man, that's the one.
I'll
I just
get
think
into that in a
I
moment.
think that is the sort of way we are at the moment, because it's been almost a year since we saw The Family Man. It's been
Yeah.
quite a while. This show will stay with me for a long time. I'm going to go back and watch this probably around about the time when season 2 is announced,
Yeah.
so I'm ready for it, because I really enjoy this. A lot of rewatchability episodes in there. As you said, John, I think they got the sort of time scale for every episode just right. Packed a punch in every episode. There was always something leaving you hanging, wanting more. And that last sort of scene in every episode, And I think when they do that, that's when they know they've got a winner for a web series. For me, it's a fantastic show, and really, really enjoyed it. And I'm thank the community, obviously, for pointing us in the right direction when this dropped, because I didn't know it dropped. Yeah. I'm glad everyone in our community.
I've forgotten about it, Stephen. I remember reacting to the trailer and loved it, laughing at the scene where VJ but Michael character shoots the right hand man of Mansoor, shoots him in the feet. Trying to remember, was it Jamal or something? I don't know if it was Jamal. I think he spoke about Anise incident. Anise was a brilliant little side character.
There was, I mean, even you know that sort of guy that was always in the edge of buildings, the incomplete buildings. Yeah, just all good. Little fat guy, it was all good.
Little fat man who's sold his
good characters, you know, memorable characters.
I forgot about it. Watched the trailer, really enjoyed the trailer, and also that's something that carried on into the actual show. As you said, Steve, without repeating verbatim what you've just said, Shahid Kapoor, Vijay Sethupathi, you know when they're leading, it's going to be brilliant in an acting sort of level, but then you get down, I wasn't expecting this sort of supporting cast to be as high quality. Bhavan Arora as Feroz, Jazwant Dalal, Rashi, Khanna, KK Menon, throughout, just brilliant. Even the little uncle character who I love to hate, Chittaranjan Giri, I think he was thought he was brilliant. Yeah. There's familiar faces coming in and out as well, from the likes of the Cuckoo actress. Just acting was sublime. The storytelling, as I said, I thought it was absolutely brilliant. These shows are made and broke. I can't even think of the actual proper saying there. Made and broke.
Make or break.
But that doesn't make sense in the way I'm saying it. I'm saying it in past tense, and I can't think of the right way to say it. You make and break these shows in the writing room.
Yeah.
And it was outstanding. The script was brilliant. The dialogue was great. It felt real. It was popping off. The characters were giving a bit out. Certainly Michael, Mather-chodding left, right and centre. And even the superior was Mather-chodding left, right and centre. And I love to hear that, because I'm someone that likes to swear. That is authentic dialogue. But just the story was brilliant. Never overstayed its welcome, as you did say. Just really, really enjoyed it. Enjoyed the editing. Enjoyed everything about it. Yeah, are we getting into the actual ranking here?
Yeah, go for it.
Because I've not got much more to say. I think you did a great job. Technically brilliant. Story was brilliant. Acting was brilliant. Episodes were fucking brilliant. Really brilliant. The catchphrase, the joke, the wig. Loved it. I love it. That's me with this. I loved everything. I loved the fucking get-ups. Everything, man. Really enjoyed it. For me, you mentioned The Family Man. Is it better? Someone, I think, nailed it, Stephen, in the comments. They were neck and neck with whether this is better than The Family Man. And the only thing that tips The Family Man over it is Manoj Bajpayee. He's a vibe, someone said, I think. And they're bang on. There's something about Manoj. He just brings something to everything he's in. Yeah. He's fucking superb. So his energy, something about that character leading it, for me just makes that tip The Family Man over Farzi. But it's very, very close. I can't remember what I ranked or rated The Family Man season 1 and 2. But for me, I'm giving this a 9.5. It's near perfection. Near perfection. Someone says it lost something in the comments getting into the end. I don't think it lost anything. For it stuck the landing, it was excellent throughout. 9.5 out of 10 for me. Fucking loved it.
Yeah, that's fair enough, John. And I think the comment was it got a bit predictable.
Yeah, I don't think it did.
I think with thrillers, there's got to be that sort of end game that we all know anyway. And I think it actually ended really sadly for those three characters. As I said earlier, they all lost something in their lives, you know, and maybe about 4 of them actually, but if we're counting Megan as well, because she's lost Sonny, you know, that relationship's got to be over. And now
Feroz has lost his brother.
Yeah,
like a brother to me.
Yeah, so
I loved you.
And that I can only repeat obviously what you said in terms of performances, John, obviously the casting and all that, but for me it is a 9.5. That's what I was sticking to after we watched that final episode. I said this is a 9.5 for me. I don't know what I rated The Family Man. I can't remember.
Family Man's better now, so it's a 9.6.
But I'm not comparing it. I'm rating this on its own merit, and I think that was important, not to have too much Family Man influence on this series. Let it have its own thing, let it grow its own audience, let it have its own identity, and they did that very well, so that's why it's a 9.5 out of 10 for me.
Let me roll it to you, as Paul McCartney once famously said. Let me roll it to you. And they did, they let it roll right to our eyeballs and into our brains. 9.5, really enjoyed it. What would you rate it though? How would you rate out of a 10? 10 being the absolute best, the toppermost of the poppermost, 1 being the worst, or 0 being the worst. I don't think you can give it a 0 though. No, a 1. been at a howler. Anyone rates it a 1, just get the fuck out of here, because you've not got a clue what you're talking about. I'll say it right now, it ain't no 1 out of 10. That's bollocks. How would you rate Farzi? What was your standout moments, standout performances, themes, structuring, writing, everything? Daj and Raj, I'm fucking doing that thing again, Pin and Foe, Poe and Finn. Raj and DK, how did you rate their sort of performance behind the camera, in the sort of writing room? Anything you feel compelled to share about Farzi, the show, our review, you can comment down below in the comment section. That's the place to put it. Who'd have funked it? The comment section is the place to put a comment, stating the fucking obvious here. You can also like the video if you've enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to get notifications straight to your eyeballs. All that's left to be said is, once again, just reiterating what was said after the finale of Farzi, the actual watch along, the reaction. You don't call it watch alongs now. That's just brought in by me out of nowhere. I just decided it's not a watch along anymore. Didn't consult anybody. It's just a reaction now. I'm the fucking Senate now. Just going to keep doing these Star Wars. I am the Senate. Not yet. It's treason then. What's your... I don't know. Yeah, that's just where we're at. Thank you for fucking watching us throughout this. Thank you for watching the review if you've come back from the watch alongs. We do appreciate it. All that's left to be said is, me and Stephen are done. Until next time. Bye-bye.